you doing, everyone? My name is Ryan and this is Ade, and welcome back to another edition of Boxtalk. It's time for This Week in Boxing, where we give you the news, reviews, the facts from the past week.
Give me my plaudits.
Don't do you shouldn't get credit for what you're supposed to do. Alright then. Let's go with this week's fights. And guys, loads of fights, so let's go to, let's say, the main ones.
Okay.
Let's go. Okay, Friday night we had sort of Carras versus Camera Guy.
Oh, bloody hell.
Yeah.
Bloody hell, okay.
Yeah.
This is going to be interesting for you to... I don't even know the results of that. So
Yeah. I think it went to a draw.
Oh, okay.
I think it went to a draw, but supposed to be a great fight. Very entertaining. Haven't seen the fight yet, so let's move forward to that and hopefully catch it another time. Let's go straight to Saturday night and go with Stuart Hall versus Rodrigo Guerrero. First of all, good fight.
Yeah, entertaining fight.
I'm not sure where Stuart Hall, even though he's going to get a world title shot with Lee Haskins, it was a good performance. But I don't know where Stuart Hall goes from that performance. And when I say that, it's like, it was a good fight, it was an entertaining fight, but it was an entertaining fight where I felt that Stuart Hall put his all into it.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Nothing wrong with that.
No, wrong. Don't know that. But I don't know if can you go extra gear. To beat Lee Haskins, you have to go extra gear.
Yeah, I guess it does. I sometimes wonder though, these fights are just for the final kind of payday, whatever fights, and it's an easy fight to make.
Yeah.
Lee Haskins, Stuart Hall, British fight, easy fight to make.
Yeah.
So exactly. So there's so many sort of easy ticks on the boxes in terms of where he goes. I thought the scorecards were quite embarrassing.
Ridiculous.
Honestly, quite embarrassing. I guess we'll talk about those later in the show. But they made it seem as though, I mean, if you're someone coming in who haven't watched that fight and just had the scorecards, you think, oh my god, Stuart Hall dominated. Yeah. Dominated the kid. No, he didn't. It wasn't. So I think he's done well to kind of reinvent himself, because I thought after the Paul Butler loss, what was that, a couple of years ago now?
Yeah.
I thought maybe that might be it. So he's done well to kind of come back. I don't think he was signed with Matchroom then. I don't think he was. So he's done well to to come back, sign with Matchroom, and potentially, like Eddie Hearn delivers him a world title shot. And I think I agree. I think Lee Haskins is another level above what I saw there. Yeah. So he's going to need to improve, but get the fight, and then you never know.
I like Stuart Hall. I think he's a hard worker. I think he's a grinder. Know what I mean? And you have to admire someone that puts in the extra mile and tries. But I'm just concerned when you put in the extra mile and you can only go so far with the extra mile. And at that weight class as well, being late 30s, it's a very tough weight to make. In a tough fight in your late 30s, sometimes it's like, well, guess what? I could make some good paydays around this level, because I have been a world champion. I can make my name, I could do stuff and win, or take the toughest fight right now, possibly lose and have nowhere to go after that. You could beat the guys around you or beat some of the top contenders around you, but you're going to sign a contract or get into a fight that 99% of the British pundits or the world pundits will have you to lose. So that means it's not saying you're cashing out, it's not saying you can't win the fight, it's just saying that if people's predictions go as they feel, that could be the end of your career.
I don't... You get what I'm trying to say? Lee Haskins isn't Floyd Mayweather.
No.
I don't think 99% of people think that Lee Haskins beats Stuart Hall by any stretch of the imagination. Lee Haskins ain't that great.
No, I'm not saying he's that great. I'm saying that it's a fight that the majority of people will think it's a step too far.
I don't know. I don't have Lee Haskins as that much of a killer at all.
No, I'm not saying he's a killer.
I think Stuart Hall would fancy he could beat Lee Haskins. I mean, if he was travelling away, as in to the States or to Mexico, like some of these British fighters have had to do, like Stephen Smith, who we're going to talk about soon, and other guys that have had to go to Mexico and fight, I get it. If Matchroom can make the fight in Newcastle, boy.
All right, then let's move forward. Let's go with Josh Warrington versus Amagasa. Which I think was some sort of eliminator as well, wasn't it?
I think it was, yeah.
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah. Again, another fight.
I saw some WBC belts. I'm guessing some sort of international or something.
Again, another fight with a terrible scorecard. Ridiculous. Both fights, the Stuart Hall fight and Josh Warrington fight, scorecards could all been thrown in the bin.
Yeah, and we laugh at Germany.
Yeah.
And we laugh at Germany.
We'll criticise other countries, but you've got to look at our own.
It's disgusting scorecards, some of our country,
Yeah, terrible. Good fight. entertaining fight. I thought Amagasa had his spots, especially in the mid-rounds. I thought Warrington won the fight. I thought he put the gas on it in the later rounds, i.e. round 11 and 12. I think maybe it was in the 10th as well. He put the gas on it and actually said, guess what, he needs to put the effort in because the fight was slipping away, but he brought it back. But when it's all said and done, you've got to look, like we always say, what's the next step? What's the road forward? For about a year now, since Selby signed with Al Heyman, Eddie Hearn's been pushing for this Josh Warrington and Lee Selby fight.
Yeah.
I don't know a year ago I said I don't know what they're pushing it for. And today, I don't know what they're pushing it for. I think Josh Warrington's a good fighter and a good prospect, and he showed he could get tough and he could get gritty. I like that. But I still think he needs a fight or two before he fights Lee Selby. Pushing that fight for summer now, I don't think it's worth it.
Yeah, agreed. I think it was almost a performance of like 3 different types from Josh Warrington. The first 3 or 4 rounds were just reminiscent of Ricky Hatton, fast, aggressive. I was like, oh my god, he's going to blow this kid out, which would be a statement. And then Amagasa showed why he is world ranked, or in and around that kind of fringe level. And then Josh Warrington, like you said, 9, 10, 11 had to kind of do a bit more to dig, and then kind of get the result that way. I had it like maybe 2 or 3 rounds in it. I gave it to Warrington. This Selby thing, Eddie Hearn needs to stop. I'm not quite sure what Eddie Hearn's doing it. If I'm Eddie Hearn, I'm looking at around the arena, another sellout, I think. So Josh Warrington obviously is making good money and doesn't need to fight Selby. Plus, Josh Warrington clearly said after the fight in the ring, I need at least 2 or 3 more fights. There's things I need to work on. But then it's almost like it wasn't, and this time it wasn't Josh Warrington. It was the I can't remember who was on the mic. Was saying, what about the Selby fight? Josh Warrington didn't mention Selby. So he clearly, it's like they're force feeding him Selby, and then Eddie Hearn gets on the mic and then says Selby again, and then who's the guy in the ring in the studio again? I can't remember his name. Ed Robinson says Selby again. Ask Jamie Moore right in front of Selby who win. Why are they all pushing Selby? Stop it.
See, here's the thing. Embarrassing. We mentioned before that we said that we think Eddie Hearn doesn't give the Al Heyman fight as much credit, and someone put a comment of this, and now there's an interview on IFL I need to find where he said he doesn't give the Al Heyman fight as 100% no more because obviously X, Y, Z. Eddie Hearn sees this fight as that saying, guess what? If I get 2 of my fighters, Selby and Warrington, it's a card that I could run, I could promote in the UK, get some good money out of it, and maybe Warrington could win. But it's too many buts and buts and buts and buts and buts. It's like it's a fight where you're in my opinion, you're hurting your prospect from developing. You know what I mean? Just because you have put on some good performances and you're a talented fighter doesn't mean you could jump from your first fringe world title operator to world champion. Know what I mean?
There is this thing that I sometimes wonder if Warrington didn't sell so many tickets, would this push be on as much as it is right now? You know what I mean? Sometimes it seems to be ticket based. Sometimes if he's moved, Warrington sells out the arena and does really well. Let's give him Lee Selby. This lower weight division, there's levels here. Even Lee Selby's away from the likes of the Lomachenko's and stuff. There's levels, and Warrington's away from Selby, way away from Selby.
So tell you what, and there's no discredit to Lee Selby. Like you said, the other world titleists in that weight class and around that weight class are all like pound for pound types.
He said, look, I've been called out by Gary Russell, Leo Santa Cruz, Carl Frampton, and if I'm Lee Selby and those guys have called me out, why am I thinking of Warrington? No disrespect. Why am I thinking, let me go to Leeds and have and risk it?
If you think Amagasa's going to give you problems with movements and angles and odd combinations, Selby will do that differently. Obviously, different structures in terms of height, but Amagasa is a good fighter, not an outstanding fighter. I'm not saying, but Selby is much better.
And going forward for Warrington, what scares me is that his style of fighting normally ends with knockout power. Doesn't have it, does he? I mean, I think they said like 4 knockouts in his career so far. And that kind of style, obviously he's not a slick boxer where you don't need knockouts, you can go points. That kind of style where take one to land one, you've got to have knockout power on the end of it. If you haven't got knockout power to put guys down, you're going to have a long night all the time. How can you do that for 12 rounds? Very difficult.
I think when you don't have knockout power, you need good defence. You need to be a little bit silky to say that you can slip shots and everything. Warrington's defence is good, but it's not dynamic. Okay, let's go to the US and catch up with Stephen Smith's world title shot against Pedraza. Watching the fight now as it speaks in the background, but we know the result. Unfortunately, Stephen Smith lost a 12-round decision, got dropped in the 9th. Apparently what we can see, it was a good fight early in terms of Smith was in it up until the mid rounds, but then from round 8, 9, it started to slip away. But I think overall, what I can see, he put in a decent showing.
Yeah, Pedraza was always going to be a tough ask, to be fair. Joe Gallagher said it. Joe Gallagher clearly said, and I heard in an interview where it said Pedraza just brings problems with everything. But we've got Stephen Smith in the best shape of his life, as trainers always say, and that's all we can do. They're riding harvesting with the Smith brothers. All of them are doing really pretty well apart from Paul, really, at the moment. So it's a good performance. What I don't want to happen, and it seems to happen with Eddie Hearn fighters for some reason, or even though British fighters, you get a world title shot, you lose, you disappear, and you go back to mixing it in and around the European British level again. You got a unanimous decision, loss against a guy that was unbeaten. Stay in and around that mix. Don't just kind of drop out completely. Stay in and around the mix, and that's the problem when you work your route up one way in terms of the mandatory, for example, the IBF route. I think this was, and then you lose. Then it's like, oh, okay. What do we do now? Stay in and around that mix, get your name in the voluntary mix, let Eddie Hearn pump some money into you again, and go again. I hope he just doesn't disappear off the face of the earth. Because he's done well to come back. I remember when I watched him 3 and a bit years ago, maybe 4 years ago, when he got knocked out by Selby, and knocked out cold. And I was like, whoa. So he's done well to rebuild from there. Super featherweight's got so many different fighters in there, so hopefully he can come again.
No, but he put, like I said, he was trading, he was mixing it up. There was some very good exchanges, you know what I mean, to head to the body. He showed variety. He showed variety. And I think that, well, both of them, don't get it right, not just Smith, both of them showed variety. Showed toughness, showed grittiness. I like those certain times in the fight where they were close to the ropes, and they were just trading head body, and when one was going for the head, one was going for the body, and they didn't run, they didn't back off. They tried to push each other. So you know, you're looking at fighters that they're pushing, they're putting in the extra work in the gas tank, and you're like, guess what? That's a good fight, and that means you've got something to work on. I hate when you see fighters get a world title shot, and when they feel they're out of their league or they're losing, they kind of give up, or they kind of like, you know, well, let me play it safe. You didn't play it safe.
You know, this way, don't mean to sound this, but the British way of fighting sometimes just always seems to be they gave it their best and 110% effort. I mean, maybe that's why I like Lee Selby so much. He seems very different from that. He isn't about throwing 100 punches and you know how many punches in a round. He just seems to be able to throw smart and good punches.
The word's efficiency.
I don't necessarily give credit to 300 punches a round sometimes. Do you know what I mean? I like it, well done, but sometimes it's about using a bit of that out there and picking the shots a bit more.
I'll give you an example. Lomachenko throws quite a lot of punches, but they're educated. They're smart punches. If you could throw 300 punches around, if they're smart, if they're educated, if they're efficient, if they're effective, then it counts. When you're just throwing shots for the sake of throwing shots, then it means nothing.
Just for the sake of hard work.
No, sometimes you see guys trying to score points when someone's blocking, and you just throw a combination, and you feel like none of them are landing. It's just to say I'm being busy. When you're trying to steal around, where the point is, it's called effective aggression, not aggression. You know what I mean? Let's go with Gary Russell versus Patrick Hyland. Gary Russell's been talking all week, saying that he wants Lomachenko. Yeah? I want Lee Selby. I want Leo Santa Cruz. I think he actually had him in order, saying he wanted Selby first, Santa Cruz second, and then Lomachenko. He's saying that Lomachenko, he said that I was so injured or weight drained or so depleted in that fight, he should have knocked me out, and he didn't, which tells me I got more in the tank than he does, basically. I always say, when you've got a fight coming up before your fight, you don't want to talk too much about the future. Patrick Hyland is not a marquee fighter or an elite fighter, but I don't think no one expected him to blow him out in 2 rounds. Gary Russell is definitely come now full circle from being good talent, good potential, losing, thinking he ain't all that, to actually believing in himself, putting things together and showing a good combination of speed and power and killer instinct. Because he done it last time in his last fight as well.
That's how he won the title.
Can't
remember who he beat.
And he destroyed
Gonzalez?
Gonzalez. I
can't remember his name. Sorry, that's probably wrong, but I can't remember his name. You're right. I'm always in favour of fighters worrying about who there's in front of them, rather than call out all these big names beforehand. But if you are going to do that, do what he did and knock him out, deliver, and he got the result. I think the Lomachenko talk is, I get it. as a fighter, fighters are kind of delusional. Let's be honest. Fighters are delusional. You're always in your best shape ever. No, you could be 50. I'm in the best shape of my life.
Yeah.
You know, and if you do lose, there's got to be a reason why you lost.
Yeah.
I think Lomachenko at the moment is almost having this reputation as a GGG type person at the lower weight classes. So I like the fact that people are calling them out, and I think the mix is fantastic right now. I think the best mix in boxing in any weight class. I think that's super featherweight, and even going up to lightweight. All these guys, if they can mix it, we've got some fantastic fights coming up.
The reason why at the middleweights, it's normally like 7 pounds in between each weight class. At the lower weight class, you're talking about 4 pounds.
Yeah.
120, 118, 122, 126, 130. So again, even though it's hard to make the weight, they're closer in weight where they can actually match up with each other quite well. The thing about it, like I said, I don't know, 6 years ago maybe, when Gary Russell was coming up and they were saying who's going to be the next star, Adrian Broner or Gary Russell, and they were all talking about the pros and cons. Gary Russell to me seemed a little lost, and when he put Lomachenko in that fight, he seemed totally lost. But like I said, I think that loss gave him a lot of confidence, and he learned from that loss, and that's all you could ask for. And like I said, now he's actually fighting and putting it together, with still being a little bit flashy, but not concerned about the flashiness, concerned more about the performance.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's what he's putting on now. Performances, not flashiness. Some people say it looks good, it looks flashy, it looks Mayweather-like, it looks this like, it looks that like. That don't mean nothing if you don't win fights. You know what I mean? It's the substance. So yeah, good performance.
Yeah.
Let's go through with Glowacki versus Steve Cunningham. Yeah. First off, guys, that fight we watched live on Boxnation, and Boxnation had the error with their feet, and we lost about 5 rounds of that fight. We went from round 4, round 5 up to about round 10. So the middle rounds are a little shaky. From what I saw early, we were all high on Glowacki coming off the Huck fight, saying, you know, he outmanned it with Huck, he stopped Huck in a great fight of the year. And I think as fans of boxing, we all get a little bit excited when you see someone that comes out and think, wow, no one's ever done it to Huck before. This guy has definitely got something. Last night, looking at Glowacki versus Steve Cunningham, yes, he knocked Cunningham down twice in the second. Yes, he seemed to be more on top, but he does have holes. Does have a lot of holes. He can be hit clean, and I wouldn't say heavy-footed. He just seems a little bit less athletic than I thought he was. He's the top of the cruiserweight division, but I don't think he's that far ahead of everyone else.
I have to disagree. You've knocked Cunningham down 4 times.
Yeah, knocked Cunningham down 4 times.
How impressive is that?
It's a very good performance.
Yeah. So I can't critique that performance. I mean, you beat up Huck, who was just like you, a version of you, stand there and slug. And then you've had to fight someone that is clearly a better boxer than you, and has a bit more movement than Huck, which isn't tough.
Yeah.
And has come down from heavyweight, which is same weight really. But he's got he's fought stronger guys, is what I meant. So Cunningham's used to bigger guys on top of him, bigger guys weighing on him.
Yep.
And you've just knocked him down in 4 rounds. 4 times on your way to what looked like a very wide-sided, one-sided beatdown. Yeah. It's hard for me to kind of discredit any of that, to be honest. I find it difficult to say anything bad about the performance.
It's not that I'm discrediting his performance. I'm saying that he looked more fleet-footed in the Huck fight, and he looked like he was getting in there. In this fight here, it looked different. It just looked different. I don't know if it's Cunningham's movement what caused it.
It's gonna look fleet-footed against Huck, because Huck doesn't have no movement.
Before, it looked like to me Glowacki was heads and shoulders above everyone else after that fight. Now that left level there is kind of here. Like I said, I look at the cruiserweight division, and to me, he's that. I mean, Huck's the second best cruiserweight. Was the second best cruiserweight? Who is the second best? No. Clearly, he's the second best cruiserweight in the world. Huck is clearly. There is no. Hernandez is retired. Ofalabi's now retired. Lebedev is rubbish. And Bendy's going to fight. I can't remember who's Bendy's going to fight at Goodison Park. Huck clearly is the second best, and he knocked the second best out 6 months ago. I think Glowacki's a good fighter. I like Glowacki. I think he's entertaining. But like I said, last night's fight, I weren't too sure about it. I think that he won clean, he won handily, he got 4 knockdowns. But I think
he won clean. You just said it. You just said it yourself.
Yeah. He won clean.
He got handedly.
He got four knockdowns. He got 4 knockdowns. But I said I don't think he's I don't think he's as, I would say, fleet-footed. I don't think his overall is good as I thought he was previous.
If I'm looking at boxing pound for pound, yes. If I'm looking at the cruiserweight division, he clearly is the best.
No, he could be the best.
But in terms of boxing, you're right.
I don't think he's that far ahead of everyone else.
That's why I said who's number 2. Who are we talking about? He's not far ahead of.
Just everyone else, the general mix. Just the general mix. The general mix. Let's go with the main event, which is for the main. Let's start again. Okay, let's go for the main event on that card, which was Errol Spence versus Chris Algieri. This was Errol Spence's fight to step up, to see, get in there with a former world titleist, someone that's ranked more by most people in the top 10, a universally ranked guy, and the guy's that,
You think he's that high?
Who?
Algieri, you think Algieri's that high, top 10? 147?
Yeah, roughly, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, just about. Just about. Who?
Never.
Wait. So we got. Yeah, around 10.
Okay.
Around 10. Yeah. But this is the fact they were talking about step up. It's a big step up. Let's see what Errol Spence has. Let's see can he put it together. Algieri had a good performance against Amir Khan. Yeah, even though it was a loss, it was a good performance. I don't think he fought in between, has he?
No.
Yeah?
I don't think so.
Fought Manny Pacquiao, took a huge beating, but went 12 rounds. Won his world title against Povetkin with a hugely swollen eye, got dropped in the first round, but survived the 12 rounds. Everyone said, guess what, this is a real fighter that's got something. He's come from a kickboxing career, so, he's tough. Errol Spence made a statement last night and said, guess what, I'm with these top guys now. I could definitely mix it up. You could look on the flip side and say, Algieri's had a lot of hard fights recently, and that could have wore it out of him, which could be a valid argument. But no one's ever took Algieri out like that. And that final, I think it was a left hook on the ropes.
No one's ever took him out.
Yeah, no one's ever took. No, he's beating him, but no one's beating him like that. Yeah. Impressive performance, very impressive. I still think Spence still look a little, wouldn't say wild, but got rushed a little bit when he's going for the stoppage. But when you're coming up, when you're fighting top 10 guys, when you're trying to get into that mix, this is your learning curve.
Yeah, I agree. You've got to make a statement. I agree with the wild bit, but I guess that's just enthusiasm. Yeah. Like, oh my god, I'm going to get out, as you said, a top 10 guy. I'm going to knock him out. And I can understand how, looking back, they probably want to put his punches together. But look, he stopped Algieri where Algieri, I wouldn't say went life and death with Khan, but we all saw that fight was a close fight between him and Khan. And 12 months later, Spence just destroyed him. He's in the mix. He's called out Kell Brook. And that fight's not going to happen. I don't expect Matchroom to even roll the dice with that fight. But it's good because Eddie Hearn would make you believe that Kell Brook's been avoided by every man in his dog. So, no, he isn't. Errol Spence has just asked for that fight. And I'd love him to work his way up to a mandatory.
Yeah, that's the word.
That's the word at the moment. Yeah, I'd love him to work his way up to a mandatory for Kell Brook.
It's an IBF mandatory, so you can't duck him.
You can't duck him.
That's what everyone keeps saying.
Yeah, so let's see what happens. But I will say this: as good as he is, Kell Brook.
And Spence said he will travel.
Did he say that?
Yeah, he said he'll travel. So in an interview in a week, said he'll travel.
I diss Kell Brook because of who he fights. Kell Brook's no mug at welterweight.
No way.
So for people that I've seen a few people and things, Spence beats BA people. This is Kell Brook we're talking about here. This isn't Algieri. Kell Brook would destroy Algieri if they fought. Destroy him because of that patience he has and then bang. Yeah. So it's a good performance, but he's in the mix. And that's what I like. I like new blood. He's 26. He's an Olympian, so he's got the amateur pedigree as well. I think got to the quarterfinals of the anyway, but he's very, very good. So well done, Errol Spence, because you are now officially in the mix, my man.
And like I said, I'm sure he's doing the route for the IBF.
Is he?
Yeah.
Ooh.
And like I said, we've talked about it before in previous. I'm not going to go into it again. Yeah. If Matchroom want to do mandatories and stick to a mandatory and say that's the mandatory, that's the mandatory, you have to do it. Let's see what happens in the next 6 to 18 months. Because one thing about Errol Spence, which I will say, and he can be more active, but in terms of the other welterweights in the top 10, he's been the more active of the rest.
Yeah. What happens at Algieri next?
I'm not sure. So I tell you what, people say I'm critical on fighters about retirement and where they stand, where they don't stand.
Bloody hell.
No, calm down.
Sorry, go on, let me hear it. Go on.
I'm not saying he's supposed to retire.
Yeah.
But what I always say is that when you achieve something in your career and then you start going down, you've got to start looking at your other options. And it doesn't mean to retire, but he's been the world champion. Most fighters never get to be a world champion. He had won the world championship in a great fight, or a wonderful fight with Povetkin. Fought a Hall of Famer, an all-time great in Pacquiao. Yeah, you can't criticize that. For Amir Khan, lost. For the new breed, lost. Yeah, I'm saying that now you got to start looking at the motivations, what you have, because either not most people don't come to it. We're two-time world champions. Yeah, so I'm saying that he's had a good progression. He's got to world title. He's had a Hall of Famers. He's headline cards, but now you can see there's a little bit of a drop. So he has to reevaluate what he wants to do and what angle's gonna come back at.
I don't know. I just feel like he needs a couple of easy fights. Get your confidence back up.
Yeah.
I think Amir Khan, Pacquiao, Spence is your 3 fights in a row.
Yeah,
not easy.
Before the fight came along, before the fight, I thought it was a good fight. I thought it was a close fight. I actually thought Spence wants to win on points. I didn't think Spence wanted to stop him. You know what I mean? So I think it was a good fight to call and a good fight for him to go into. But like I said, most fighters, when they get on a downward spiral, it's a downward spiral. You know what I mean? No matter who it is, those fights, like I said, they're wear and tear. They wear and tear.
Okay.
So we'll see what happens. Okay, let's go with the news. And yeah, quite a few bits to get through.
I kid you not, the last 3 months there's been quite a few bits.
Yeah.
Boxing is now everyday sport. It's no longer weekend news, it's everyday news.
Yeah. Alright, let's start quickly with this whole, it's a big subject, this whole Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua, Matchroom Sports, Frank Warren, 9th of June scenario. 9th of July scenario. And include obviously John Fury's statement about where Fury's in the sport and the disrespect he's receiving from everyone.
Okay.
And let's also include the possible change of date.
Okay.
Which now be the June 25th.
So which one?
AJ.
Oh, for AJ. Okay,
yeah.
Cool.
So in the past week or so, there was 2 big interviews on IFL. One from Frank Warren, one from Eddie Hearn. Eddie Hearn was talking about the rise of Joshua and where Joshua stands and what he's doing. And Frank Warren's one was obviously about the Furies and what's happening. Frank stated in the interview, you trying to jump on the 9th of July card date is silly, it's going to hurt the sport, it's going to do this, it's going to do that, and back and forth. There was a big press conference midweek where John Fury was saying that Tyson being disrespected by everyone, whereas, let's be fair, the IBF belt is Tyson Fury's, he was stripped where he could defend it. Obviously Martin was a paper champion, AJ's got it, good on AJ, but let's be fair, that is not the belt, that's not the champion, XYZ, and going back and forth. Then it's turned out now that Matchroom saying they might change their date to the 25th due to other reasons, not ideally saying it was because of the Fury fight. There's definitely a heating up feud now, not just between Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury, but between Sky and Sky and Boxnation and Frank Warren and Eddie Hearn, which has always been there, but now it's definitely bouncing off. Also in that interview, Frank Warren said, you think Jerry Dunn is so good, I'll gladly put Teddy in on your card and I'll pay his purse and let's see who wins that fight. Definitely heat. I don't know where to start. There's 3 elements of it. You choose.
Which one?
The AJ Fury, the Frank Warren versus Eddie Hearn, or the Sky versus Boxnation.
Let's start with the AJ Fury one, because that's the one that seems to be very fun for us anyway. On Twitter they've been going back and I love it, to be honest. I like some of the tweets they're going. I love Tyson Fury. I think he's fantastic for the sport. Yes, he says some silly things sometimes. We spoke about those and he backtracks on them all the time, where we question whether or not he's a bit, sometimes a bit silly. Yeah. But regardless, it brings fun to what in otherwise has been quite a boring heavyweight division for the year. So they bring fun to it. I think John's right. I do sometimes think that people forget that what Tyson Fury did at Klitschko Performance. I mean, 99% of people said it's too big a job to go over there and do what he did. So I feel like not enough credit's been given for that performance, and too much credit's been given to some of the stuff he said after that performance. Yeah. And I feel like, well, wait a minute, this is what he's done is unbelievable, guys. I think even Ring Magazine gave him their fight of the year. And I think the British public and not giving him enough credit, or maybe Eddie Hearn. I've not even heard an interview with Eddie Hearn and said, "Oh my God, what an amazing." Yeah. I don't think I've heard that. You know, or Sky. So I understand what they're saying about that, and I understand that in my eyes, Joshua does have Fury's belt. Mm-hmm. I think that as well. But nonetheless, Joshua's a world champion, and I think credit needs to go to both of them.
Yeah, but credit needs to go to both of them. Everyone's on their own path, on their own road. So everyone's got to do what's best for them at this present time. Like you said, I do think there's definitely you got to look at the levels of performances. People are saying that the Fury performance, it was a rubbish fight, it was boring. Vladimir didn't do nothing, and so on. So Vladimir was on top for like 10, 12 years. Undefeated, undisputed at the time. So when Fury beat him, Fury literally not just beat the man, not just beat the long-term champion, he's beat a guy that hasn't been beat in X amount of years. Know what I mean? That's a mad credit you should be getting. Anthony Joshua, again, on his own path, only been a pro for 3 years. So yes, for being a world champion and beating a current title holder, again, that's like, wow, in 3 years you've done that. I can understand when you get praise on both sides. Know what I mean? Because they've both done things that are amazing. But you have to look at the longevity. Charles Martin is not a Klitschko. Yeah? And that's what it comes down to. I mean, regardless if you like Klitschko or not, when it's all said and done, Klitschko is a great fighter. Now I mean, he's going to be one to go down on the list of great heavyweights. Now I mean, Fury's beat a great heavyweight. Not many can say that.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah. Let's look at Frank Warren and Eddie Hearn. Frank's offering these fights out to Eddie Hearn. Yeah, and saying these fights we can do. Look, I'm putting offers out there. You guys are turning them down. Eddie is strictly, in my opinion, sticking with his home stable. He's got a lot of fighters, and he would rather mix his fighters, well, at the top of the level, in with his fighters. We saw it with Kell Brook and Frankie Gavin. Yeah, obviously the fights where outside Anthony's coming, those fights seem to be more on the. It's on the favourable side for the matchroom fighter. Yeah, that makes sense. No one's been brought over here, and you thought, oh my gosh, that's a risk. That's a tough fight. Oh my gosh, this could be, the one he's going to lose. So I wouldn't say they're setups fights, but they're fights that you kind of have a predictor who's going to win that fight.
I thought Croller's fight was.
No, Croller. I
can't remember his name now, but Perez.
Yeah, Dali Perez. Yeah, that was a good one. That was a good one.
Easy one.
What else? Give me another one.
I can't think off my head, but I'm sure there's
a few there. I'm saying that right now, there's fights not abroad. There's fights in the UK between what Frank Warren has that can be made that are great fights what fans will want to see. So I'm saying instead of Eddie Hearn should be looking abroad, he should be looking at his hometown as well, saying what can be there. Now I'm not saying it'll be easy negotiations. I'm not saying Frank's not doing it to be a bit self-serving himself, because this is a business. Frank's going to want his share or get it on Boxnation or do some sort of split side thing. Obviously there is problems, but like I always said, if HBO and Shota could agree, if you could get Tyson and Lewis in the ring with different networks and different shows, Manny Pacquiao and Mayweather together, you could fix this Frank Warren Eddie Hearn beef.
I don't know if it's that simple.
I'm just saying that
generated $500 million.
No, but Frank's offering it.
This fights maybe don't offer it. What does Tete Gavin McDonald, Jay McDonald, mate?
No, but Frank's offering. That's the point.
Yeah, I think Frank's being smart though. Frank's doing that.
It's self-serving. That's what I said.
100%. I mean, my guy beats your guy. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means in terms of the boxing world. My guy beats your guy. Why don't Frank get some of the top Americans to fight his guys as well? What should we say about Matchroom? Why don't Frank do the same thing and get some of the big names to come over here and fight Boxnation fighters? I'm not sure, but
I think I think that's down to budget as well. I think it's down to financial clout. I think there's an issue with that overall. But I'm just saying that in the past month, Frank has offered Eddie Hearn Tete versus McDonald. He's offered Liam Smith and Brook. He's offered Flanagan and Cruller. Yeah,
that's the one for me. Of all of them, that's the one.
I'm just saying that, like I said, could be self-serving, could be, like I said, it's not easy. There are hurdles to jump, but then fights that were all entertaining fights that we all want to see that actually have substance in the division and actually make something of the division. You don't have to go other places when you've got fighters here. Yeah,
and I'll say off the bat as well, I gave Jamie McDonald a lot of credit for his performances. I think Tete beats McDonald.
Tete is a handful, and his boxing is high. His boxing ring IQ is high class, very, very high class. But I'm telling you right now, I would not sleep on Jamie McDonald.
I'm not sleeping on him.
Jamie McDonald.
If I've got to call it, I'm just calling it, and I think Tete beats McDonald. I really do believe that Tete.
It's a tough fight. It's a tough fight.
Maybe I don't even think it's a tough fight.
You don't think it's a tough fight?
I don't think it's tough. I'm going to get credit, but I think Tete is...
no, I think Tete's a handful.
Is a brute of a man.
The way Tete's performances have been, and the way he shut down Butler, tells you a lot about what Tete has in the tank. Yeah, I always talk about your tool bag. Tete's tool bag's full. You know what I mean? Mate. But I'm just saying, I don't think Jay McDonald's tool bag is very empty.
No, I agree.
I'm just saying he's got a tool bag as well. It's a shame for the sport, not just domestically but internationally, if you can't get these fights going off. Yeah, Golden Boy and Top Rank always had their problems back and forth. Like I always said, Don King and Aaron always had their faults. Yeah, but one thing never stopped with them. They never stopped them getting fights.
Yeah,
never stopped them getting fights. Yeah, and making good money. And Don King, especially Don King and Bob Arum, they'll be there cussing each other in interviews. Then a week later, they're at the press conference hugging each other. We go back and forth. But we always do good business. And that raspy Bob Arum voice and Don King waving his flags. They know how to milk a crowd and make it work.
Yeah.
All right. Last thing. Is there an underlying beef now between Sky Sports and Boxnation?
I don't think it's underlying, and I think it's there and it's visible. I think Boxnation recently, look, Sky Sports, Boxnation seems to be chucking a lot of money at these American fights, loads of money at these international fights. Some of the fights I'm shocked they've got, if I'm honest with you. I'm like, wow, they've got that fight, and it's fights that yesteryear would have been on Sky Sports late at night. And I think, I don't know if Sky Sports are bidding for these fights, but if they are, Boxnation have blown them out of the water with just ridiculous bids to secure the fights, and I think that's what's causing a problem. I think there'll always be issues with Frank and Sky, because obviously Frank was Sky, and then obviously they just cut all the dates and gave everything to Matchroom, and then Frank went off, I think, and done his own thing with Boxnation, so there's always going to be them sort of underlying problems. But I think right now, Boxnation, in terms of where they're bidding, are a viable problem for Sky, because right now, for me, if I'm thinking who's the home of boxing, it's Boxnation.
Yeah, of course.
And then Sky Sports Boxing don't show me much, you know what I mean? Boxnation show me loads, and I don't know. You look at Sky Sports Boxing, I don't know if they're struggling. Obviously, Ringside got pulled. That was an online thing, that got pulled. I'm not sure what they're doing, to be honest. I'm not sure what they're doing.
My defence for Sky Sports is that Sky Sports is a sports channel, it's not a boxing channel. So they obviously have budgets for different shows and different fights, and they have different sports on their platforms. They've got 3 or 4 channels, so it's loads for them. For me though, who's a boxing fan, I don't watch football, watch much of the other sports yet, I would gladly give up my Sky subscription for Boxnation. You know what I mean? Because Boxnation is, like you said, the home of boxing. I'm getting fights every week, all the time. UK fights, domestic fights, international fights, all on Boxnation. I'm only getting Matchroom cards over here, and then the pay-per-views on Sky. So really, if you're a boxing fan, Boxnation is the place to go. Yeah. But then, like I said, Sky has the options, because Sky's got 4 platforms. They could bid more money for these other international fights and put it on Sky Sports 2, 3, 4. But they're not. Yeah, well, for them, you're thinking British channel. Who's stand up to 4:30 in the morning to watch some of these American cards? Do you know what I mean? I do think you've got to pick your spots. Yeah. I mean, Boxnation are going for everything. Yeah. But they're probably thinking, who's stand up to watch that? Okay. Not many people are. But then let's be fair though, in the next month, we'll all be standing up for Canelo, Khan. Yeah. 100%. We'll all be standing up for GGG Wade. I don't think so. I'll be standing up for that for sure. Yeah. I mean, don't wrong, but I don't think so. Not a lot of people would stand up for GGG Wade. I don't know, well, that's me. But I'm just saying though, there are fights that people will pay attention to. Yeah. What I will say about them is that as much as they're getting a lot of these American cards and these big cards, I'd like to spend a bit more on their production. Oh yeah. If they're going to spend that much money getting those cards, when you do get your British cards, make them look spectacular. Because right now, I do look like when I'm watching Boxnation, I feel like I'm back in the 80s. Honestly, I feel like I'm back in the 80s with some of their stuff. Make it better. If we're going to spend all that money. Now, I'll agree with you as well. I do think the overall production value on a Sky card is much better than the Boxnation card. Also, the studio does look a little. It could be updated. It can look more dynamic. Yeah, I think Bunsey, Steve Lillis, and the crew they got at Boxnation, I think they're great. I think they know their stuff. They give you banter between the cards and the fights, and you get a laugh out of it. You don't get. They give us banter when the feed dies. Yeah, that's so it happens a lot on Boxnation. Technical difficulties happens a lot. One thing is that in terms of the commentary on the Sky side and the Boxnation side, you get more banter, more jokes, and get more entertainment overall on the Boxnation side, where the Sky side tried to be more tactical about it. News that dropped last night: Felix Sturm fails a drug test for his fight with Dmitry Chudinov. Failed for stenozolov, which is the same steroids that Kid Gallagher got caught with.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
The one my brother spiked me.
Yeah.
So now it's even more obvious your brother didn't spike you.
Yeah.
Now it becomes, because now it's a drug that I didn't know about really before, and now obviously is the new drug.
No, you knew about it before. It's the same things that Ben Johnson got caught with.
Oh, okay.
But like I said before, it used to be called, it's made like a company called Winstrol.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's got 2 different names. But basically, he's been caught again. I'm not gonna go into what stenozolov is because I've done it before in a few videos. I've gone through it back and forth.
I think he said I've done it before.
No.
He said I've done it before, and then he paused for about 2 seconds at a few videos.
Drug free, 100%. I don't want to say boxing's got. I don't want to say. Okay, we say boxing's got a problem with steroids. And I don't want to marginalize it to one area, but the Eastern Bloc has been getting a lot of dodgy results recently. Yeah. Is it the testing's getting better, or is it just a thing where now, guess what, you have to put extra scrutiny because over the past 2 to 3 months, loads of them, Lucas Brown, the whole Russian drug scandal where everyone that beat on the Russian car got pulled, didn't in the Povetkin Watch fight, was that fight? Povetkin Watch where everyone got pulled on drugs? Yeah. It is coming an issue now.
Yeah, I think it's been an issue for years. I think they all take drugs over there. So I know that sounds really bad and it sounds like I'm putting everyone in one block, but I do think you've got away with it for years. Drug testing's gone a bit better, and so all of a sudden everyone's getting popped. It's you can't. There's too much of a coincidence for me. I mentioned. I'm not going to mention him again actually because I don't want to put him in our favour, but it's another thing. I just feel like sometimes when one area, like Ryan says, when one area of people get popped, you've got to question. Something's going on. You know, it's like USADA and VADA have said, okay, let's go to that area, and all of a sudden everyone that fights in that area is getting popped for something. There's issues. Yeah. There's big issues, and I kind of feel like, I don't know. I feel like it takes a lot away from Sturm, I'll be honest with you. It takes a lot away from Sturm. It does. You know what I mean? Does Chudinov get the belt back? Does it turn into...
B-Sub was being tested now, so they'll make a decision. Chudinov must be gutted, because he won that fight.
Anyway.
And he got robbed, and that time the guy he got robbed with more than likely cheated as well.
They might make it into a no contest.
It'll be a no contest. No, you have to
fight for the belt.
Yes, fight for the belt.
That's alright. At least he'll fight. He'll get the first crack at it.
Yeah. You can't tell people's bodies by steroids. Steroids are not an indication of your body. And look, he's muscular, he's bulky, he's this. Steroids don't work that way, as we all know.
Doing bodybuilding.
Yeah, if you're doing bodybuilding, that's at the extreme level, but not in sports. And when you look at Sturm as a fighter and look at the condition he's always been in, there hasn't really been a change. Yeah, he's always been fighting in Germany. Yeah, he came over to America and had the fight with Oscar De La Hoya and everything. And like you said, to maintain that type of physique year in, year out for years and years and years must be draining the body, especially when you're approaching 40. That doesn't mean you're cheating, but like you said, once you fail a drug test once, you have to look at the whole body of their career. The same way we do with Antonio Tarver. Yeah, well, you said he shouldn't be getting nothing at all because he's a multiple-time drug cheat. Same if you said, I told you, don't make you mention on camera or me you talking, you said about James Toney. He's been caught like 2-3 times. He said, as far as I'm concerned, you're a cheat. That's it. Once you start putting those question marks up with steroids, it does have to look at your whole career and say, guess what? Were you doing certain things or fighting certain areas or protecting yourself by staying close to home? Like you mentioned after Abraham, traveling, it looked totally different.
I do. To be fair to Sturm, I think in the last 2 or 3 years his style's completely changed. Where Sturm used to only do like 30-second bursts in a round, and I think that was you're able to maintain that. Just watch the last 4 or 5 Sturm fights. He tries to fight for 3 minutes now. So he's put on weight. He's got older and he's able to go 3 minutes, where before Sturm at 160 was notorious for just trying to steal rounds, high guard,
jab, pop the jab.
Yeah, and then still around. Go and watch the Macklin fight, go and watch the Murray fight. That's all he did. 30 seconds at the end of the round, that seemed right. All of a sudden, Sturm's able to go 3 minutes at nearly 40, higher weight class. Use your eyes. Sometimes you've got to use your eyes for some of these fighters, and no, not having it. Yeah. Sturm, I wouldn't put it all over his career, but I'd say the last 3 or 4 years have been a bit suspect for me with Sturm. I've been a bit suspect.
Yes, sir. Just a quick one on Adrian Broner.
Okay.
So as I mentioned before in the past couple of weeks, that I thought that he's wasting his career and he's doing all these things wrong. I definitely mentioned last year that he's been indicted now on that case where he robbed his friend with a gun, and then this week he got arrested for reckless driving, and is currently still in 10 days in jail for violating his probation.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go over it again, but like I said, this guy's not serious. There's too many now instances, closer, which is not helping him.
There is that. He's not serious, but I looked at his kind of track record the other day, he's had problems since he was like 16, 17, 18. So I think it's more than just a case of he's not serious. It's a case of someone needs to sit him down and have a real, proper. It's an issue from young. It stems from young, and boxing's been that way out. Yeah. And obviously now, it's hard when you've been doing stuff since you were young. You've now become a millionaire. You're not just going to stop doing them because of money and boxing. So someone needs to sit him down properly.
Yeah, you need to think smarter. Yeah, you know what I mean? Think smarter. Yeah. You know what I mean? But I'm not going to go beat up on him because that's what we already spoke about it previously. Just another one as well, just a quick one. The recently released Ike Hakabuchi was also arrested this week as well on probation violation. Doesn't say what he's done or why, but there goes Ike, it looks like. I don't think once you're on probation violation within 6 months or a year of coming out, I'm kind of sure.
How long was Ike in jail for again?
About 12, and then he went to a detention centre for a year, and then they released him, I think, November.
Yeah, I saw some interviews of Ike. He was talking about some other heavyweights, and everything.
New interview?
Yeah, new interview. Yeah, recent. And everyone was like rosy, but in my head I was looking at him thinking, "You just done 12 years in jail."
Yeah.
I'm not trying to say that's not gonna, you're not gonna come out and be normal again, obviously, but that must take some toll on you.
Of course.
So I feel like I'm never surprised when someone that does that long in jail breaches parole, does something wrong, and goes back again for a little period. It doesn't shock me. I don't think jail's there to, what's the word again? To help you anymore. I think jail's just there. You do time, you come out, and you're struggling again.
No, I do. There is a case for it that they say that some people, once they become institutionalized, they like being institutionalized. Where obviously the routine, the format, and everything.
Standard.
But being out in the real world is scary.
Yeah, it's like, whoa, I have 12 years in jail.
Scary.
12 years.
Billy Joe Saunders is injured and is currently off the card for his match with Matt Bursack. No time for a rescheduled fight, as it seems right now, but he apparently injured his hand while having a little private fun. Did you hear what he said?
No. Is that what he said?
Go read it.
Okay. It's a shame. I've said it already. Happens a lot of Boxnation cards. It's unfortunate. It's not by. It's unlucky, but it does seem to happen a lot. I mean, who's the top of the card? Huey Fury's
Huey Fury, Huey Fury's fighting on top of the card.
Yeah, and
I can't remember his fight.
Liam Walsh is on the other card. I can't remember.
Yeah. Not a bad card. It's not a bad card. It's not a great card.
That's not what paying Boxnation subscription for.
No, that's one fight of the evening. You must get another card at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alright then. The EBU says that Callum Smith and George Groves are currently talking about a possible fight.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't hear that from no one else, just from the EBU. Interesting. Yeah,
if I'm George Groves, and recently there's been a lot of like, oh, Callum Smith's going to knock you out. We said it on this show.
Yeah.
He's probably looking, wait a minute guys, come on. But, Rebrasse, Mohammadi and Fielding isn't Froch, Badu Jack, the girl, whoever else I fought. So if I'm Groves, it's a fight I think I've got a chance in, a fight I fancy. So it'll be a good fight.
No, it'll be a good fight. And I think, after like I said last week, I don't think this fight is needed right now, because from where Callum Smith is, he's already got a mandatory position, and I think the fight will be bigger after he gets his world title shot.
We said that before though. We've always done that. We've waited for guys to do something and someone loses. Yeah. Let's just have them. Let's just have these fights.
And I agree with you. But it's a step up for Callum. And it's a good fight. But I don't know if Matthew will want it. I don't know if they'll want it right now. Knowing you've got a mandatory position, you could wait there and fight anyone else cheaply, easily, get easy wins until you get your shot.
I would like Cali, silence by the way, and George Groves to pull Matchroom's card. I want to see what Eddie Hearn does, because like I said, I think Eddie Hearn talks a lot after fights.
Yeah.
And I said, pull your card and say, okay, we'll take the Kenneth Smith fight.
Yeah.
And let's see what George Groves, Eddie Hearn does, because right now I think he's looking at Kenneth Smith and he's looking at him with pound signs, thinking this is a future box office star here. And George Groves could end that very quickly if he caught him, because we haven't seen what his whiskers are like yet.
No, we haven't. And
George Groves, we know, can hit.
No, we haven't. It'll be interesting to see how it plays out. But I say that's come from no one else. It's come from the EBU, so there's something been going on.
Something's going on behind the scenes.
Something's going on behind the scenes, but no one's actually officially talked about it.
Good find racing.
Yeah. Miguel Cotto's return has been pushed back from June. Miguel Cotto was trying to get a HBO date in June for pay-per-view.
Yeah.
And the opponents they were looking for, that which HBO refused, were Gabe Rosado, Diego Chavs, and James Kirkland.
Was Brooke not in there?
No.
Okay, because I heard something about Brooke.
No. How can you try to get those three opponents for HBO pay-per-view?
I said it on the show as the biggest Cotto fan there is out there. That he should just retire.
No, he should.
He should retire. Cotto lives a fantastic life, he seems like.
Yeah.
I do also think that he balloons up to quite a big weight. And I think he's just very comfortable where he is. And those are just easier fights.
Yeah.
Pick one of the... Who do you think he could fight as a pay-per-view fight?
Okay,
so where's he going to come and weigh in? Probably 155. Who could he fight at 154 that would make pay-per-view?
First of all, all those guys there, as far as I'm concerned, are coming off losses, I think. Yeah. They're not
Zardo's not won in 20 years.
Kirk ain't been seen since Canelo handed it to him. Diego Chavs.
That Brooke was supposed to fight.
Yeah.
That Timothy Bradley drew with, I think.
Yeah, but Timothy Bradley won that fight easily.
So it's a 147 guy, basically.
This is what I'm trying to say, it's a joke. Who could Cotto fight as a pay-per-view star, as a pay-per-view fight right now? Not many. Not many at 154. There's good fights at 154.
Who's the big 147 guy? No one really. No. I mean, look at someone like Furman and Porter, but they're going to fight, they're going to get on.
The only fight that will be pay-per-view, could be pay-per-view, and I don't want to see the fight because it's a mismatch, but they keep talking about it non-stop, is Marquez. No, I don't want to see it. It's a rubbish fight. It's a terrible fight. It's a terrible fight. But that's the fight they're pushing. Even Marquez says that, guess what, I need all summer to... Last week I saw Marquez, I need all summer to train for this fight, but we could do Cotto end of summer, or autumn.
Someone tweeted, and I think it's someone that is a pretty good source, tweeted that Eddie Hearn turned down HBO's offer for Brooke Cotto.
Wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, like Cotto offered to fight Brooke.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I read that, and I saw a few tweets as well where people were laughing, that seems like a genuine that's a pay-per-view fight.
Kell Brook went to America because it's mandatory, and he's going to go a title shot. Yeah. Besides that, Eddie Hearn is not going to put his guys, especially his marquee guys, over in fights like that. And I've said earlier on that Eddie Hearn looks for the fights that could sell good and keep them domestic over here, but it's not going to give them that fight over there. No way. No way. And to be fair, as it stands right now, it's a fight Kell Brook could win. It's a fight Kell Brook could win. Cotto
would be who?
Cotto.
Who could beat Cotto? Brooke could beat Cotto.
It's a fight Kell Brook could win. Cotto, I keep telling you before, much as you love Cotto, you got to take your Cotto head off and think about it. Cotto has never been a very good fighter at 154.
Brooks never fought 154.
He has fought 154.
He fought 151 when he fought Carson Jones.
He's fought 154 a couple of times. The point I'm making is,
I saw Brooke fought Carson Jones.
Yeah.
That was the fight you're talking about, by the way. That was the only fight that weight. And what happened?
And that was what?
4 years ago.
Yeah, exactly. 4 years ago.
That's the time. I'm trying to say, the time he stepped up and fought a higher weight class was his worst performance I've ever seen.
I'm just saying that
against Carson Jones.
I'm just saying Cotto is not in his prime. He's 35 years old and is at his best weight is 147. Yeah, 154 for Cotto, he can be beaten.
Of course he can be beaten. Yeah, we've said that before, but But at least put him in with a 154 guy to beat him. Brooke at 147. No.
All I'm saying is
you're not having that.
All I'm saying is that it's not a fight that's out of the realms of possibility.
No boxing matches.
There you go. I'm saying Cotto could win that fight.
No boxing matches.
Yeah. All right. Deontay Wilder has signed the contract for Povetkin. So, by all accounts now, everything seems to be much more in place than it was 2-3 weeks ago.
I've not seen a fight poster for it.
Yeah, I've seen a fight poster
for it as well. Yeah. No, I've seen a real fight poster for it.
Yeah. Let's bring on May 21st.
Yeah, that's a bottle fight then for me, because the way I see it, you've been anti-Dion for ages. Yeah. I've been a bit pro-Dion, not anti as much as you. I've been calling him to get out of the basement. You think Povetkin's a top 5 heavyweight. You think Andy Joshua and everyone else and his man dog can knock at Dion. That's a bottle fight. right here, right now. Bottle Povetkin Wilder.
We do the bottle for that. We'll do the bottle for that. And you know the thing about it, like I said before, yeah. And this is what I'm trying to say. I would like Wilder to prove me wrong. I've said before. Have I said before?
Yeah.
I would like to prove me wrong because we need the divisions lighting up. And if he's really on it and to prove his point, then he proved me wrong. I'll be happy for him.
He's already proved you wrong.
No, he hasn't proved me wrong.
He's going to Russia. No. He's
when
doing Rocky IV.
When I see him in the ring, then I'll prove him wrong. In the ring now. Yeah, because anything can happen in the next 4 weeks.
Yeah, but I'm just saying.
Yeah, there you go. Let's wait till the fight happens. The point I'm saying is, yeah, I would like him to prove me wrong. But as it stands right now, Dion has showed me nothing.
Have they done drug? Have they said who's the drug test?
VADA.
Oh, VADA. Good.
VADA. And based on this week's information, it's needed.
Yeah, based on this week's information, Povetkin gets knocked out because obviously he's been taking his creatine.
If Wilder lands on anyone, he can knock them out. But the way he sets his shots up with no jab and no movement, and Povetkin has that amateur background, I'm telling you now, yeah.
So does Wilder. Wilder's a bronze.
You're going to try to compare Wilder's amateur background with Povetkin?
Sorry, Wilder was bronze medalist in the Olympic Games. I'm not trying to compare, but you just said Povetkin has amateur, so does Wilder.
No. Povetkin's amateur background is 100 times better than bloody.
How can you get 100 times if you got bronze medalists in the Olympic Games?
How many amateur fights did the Wilder have?
Doesn't matter, he got bronze medalists in the Olympic Games.
No, that's an accolade, but his actual amateur fights, he started boxing very, very late, Wilder, and he only had a handful of amateur fights. Similar to Joshua.
That's even better then. That's even more of a if you've been boxing late and then get to the Olympics.
When you have power like that and you can knock someone out, it's different. But this is talking about a complete fighter, not an amateur fighter.
Let's see what happens when they fight then. Let's see all that amateur stuff and all that.
Let's see what happens when they fight. I think it's a good fight. I think
Wilder knocks him out.
In what round?
I'm not giving rounds. I don't know. But Wilder knocks Povetkin out.
All right then. I'm going for Povetkin to win, as you guys know.
Well, you know already what that means, people.
Povetkin's going to fight. I should mention this earlier on. Lucas Brown does a polygraph test to prove his innocence. Ricky Hatton is backing him, saying X, Y, Z. We know this proves he's innocent and whatever. Here's the thing about it: polygraph test prove. Okay, it's not one. Polygraph is not a guaranteed correct thing to say if he's innocent or not. I understand the right that you want to prove yourself, but the facts remain that the drugs are still in your body. Even though I'm skeptical of how they got into his body, a polygraph test doesn't prove anything.
Yeah.
Because the drugs were in your body, in your already. So I think yes, it's something dodgy might have gone on. But what does a polygraph test prove, and why put it out there as that proves something which is not?
Yeah, it's a level of desperation that somebody's doing a polygraph test. I've never heard a boxer ever do that in my life, to be honest.
Yeah,
that's quite strange. I will say this, like what you said, and I think it's a very, very good point. Regardless, those were in your body and they aided you in your performance to get the win. So that doesn't, how they got in your body, that's another question altogether. But the fact remains is you had an advantage on the night because you were using a substance that helps you, whether it be the preparation for the fight or the fight itself. So unfortunately, I'm not sure what you do with Lucas Brown. It's a tough one now. Has he been stripped yet, or the B sample went for the B sample?
No. The way things are going right now with drug testing, which I think is really, really shady. I understand you have patient-doctor confidentiality, and you got to look at, wait for all the results to come in and out. But it seems to me that it's taken long enough for the results to come out officially.
I think that people have been told, look, this is your result. Now it's going to cost you 100,000.
Yeah,
it's up to you. You can pay us, or we.
No, so seriously.
Honestly, I think it's something like you can pay us, or it comes out.
Yeah,
and it's like whatever.
Yeah, or the court system straight away say, look, suppress it, because of X, Y, Z. It's like something's definitely wrong. Before you got caught, you took your test. 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later, you're caught. Going to the commission, X, Y, Z. It's done and dusted. You know what's going on.
Yeah.
Every time now, it's 3-4 months down the line, 3-4 months down the line, or longer. That means something's wrong.
Yeah.
Sean Paul versus Keith Thurman.
Has Porter done that exhibition fight?
Yeah, done that already. Yeah.
Okay.
Porter Keith Thurman is now re-signed for June 25th. I like that fight a lot. Like it a lot. It's one of those fights that even now, and I'm Kyle Thurman, I don't have a winner for that fight. I think it's a tough fight to call. A real tough fight to call.
Yeah, it is a very, very tough fight. Don't have a winner either. I edge to Porter right now.
Yeah.
Just edge. I think he's experiencing big fights and being, Broner was a big fight in terms of the build-up, and Brook was a big fight. And I can't think of what's Furman's biggest fight.
Guerrero. Yeah.
See, so just
that was the opening of the PBCs, also. It was a big event. Yeah. I think.
And I remember seeing him against Colazo as well. I remember thinking he was that close.
No, he got hurt with the body.
That close. Yeah. So, and Porter wings for that body.
Yeah. I think Porter's it's his style. He breaks your rhythm. You know what I mean? It's hard to set yourself up.
Yeah, unless you're patient and real skill. Like someone like Mayweather, for example, would destroy Porter. Just picking him off all night. Yeah. But if you're not that way inclined, and your way is to fight fire with fire, it could be a long night. Yeah, could be a long night.
Could be. All right. Just a few quick little bits, and then we're done. Victor Ortiz said he's ready to conquer 147 and 154.
Yeah, money's obviously run out.
Huh?
Money's run out.
Hollywood's run out.
Yeah. Hollywood, Dance with the Stars.
Yeah.
Obviously, we got to do that video. It's a fun fight there. Him and Berto. Go again.
Yeah.
I'm not sure why Berto's taking this fight. I think Berto's silly to take this fight.
I think Berto wants revenge.
Yeah, but I think Berto might not get revenge. I'm not high on Berto at all. You know, I'm not. I watched. What fight did Berto have before Mayweather?
And you got lucky. Got lucky against Josito Lopez, I think.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm not.
Josito was beating his ass.
Yeah.
That stoppage. I'm not about stoppage. I'll tell you before.
And I'm not. Yeah. I'm not too high on Berto yet. You know, I'm not fooled by the fact you went 12 with Mayweather, because that's the standard nowadays. Yeah. I'm not convinced with Ortiz. They're all good. They're both
not convinced with Ortiz.
It's a good fun fight then.
Yeah, it's a good fun fight. The thing about Ortiz is he would talk a good game up to the fight, but he's definitely chinny when he gets caught.
And he doesn't want it.
Yeah, he doesn't want it. I think Hollywood's dried up a little bit. Had a couple rolls. Know what I mean, looked good.
Quite well, didn't it?
Yeah.
To be fair.
I mean, but nothing's wrong with that. But you know, he's not a trained actor. You're not gonna get leading man roles. Know what I mean? Last one. Vladimir Klitschko says the hostile crowd in Manchester will motivate him. He needs motivation. Definitely needs motivation.
Yeah, he's definitely lacking from motivation, and this could be the motivation he's needed. An adversary. Yeah. Is that the right word? Yeah. Adversary. Yeah. Tyson Fury does bring that. I mean, the other guys have just been walking the parks. No disrespect to them, the likes of Lepai and Brian Jennings before that, and keep going forward. Pulev was a bit like that, but it destroyed him. So I think he needs it. I think fighting away from home is fantastic as well. I don't think he's going to get. I don't know. I'm trying to think of what Tyson Fury's crowd's like. Whether it'll be complete booze all the way through, but I think they might be a bit respectful. But I can't wait. I really am going to try and get a ticket for that fight because I really want to see Klitschko.
Yeah. You know, it's one of those ones there where it's like I said it before. Is that I think Vladimir's a perfectionist. I think that he couldn't land his shots against Fury because he was always out of range. Yeah. And you know, when you're trained by Emmanuel Stewart saying, look, your chin ain't the greatest. You know what I mean? Keep that position, keep that shape, and you know, throw your shots effectively. He couldn't do that. But if he fights that way against Fury, he'll lose again. Like I said, he needs to have a little fire behind him and say, guess what? I've got to take a risk. The crowd's booing me. I'm in with a guy that's moving and shaking. I can't really catch up to him. He has to take a risk. Yeah, and Vladimir has the power, and when he lets them go, he gets great knockouts. But he has to let them go. You know what I mean?
I don't know if he will. I don't know if he can beat Fury now.
He's too much perfectionist.
Too much perfectionist, and Fury now, the confidence of Tyson Fury is just through the roof. I mean, you saw how confident he was before the fight. I mean, he's just going to chuck the belts on the table and do, I don't even know what antics he's going to do. But it's going to be, it's too confident a kid right now. He's young, he's 27, 28. He's young, he's fresh, he's bigger than you. But what thing with Vladimir's got to realise that, I don't know if Tyson Fury can knock Vladimir out. If I'm honest, Vladimir, people might say he's chinny, but I don't think Tyson Fury is a big puncher. I've said this a few times. Fight fire with fire. Do what you did to Pulev if you really want to do something.
Exactly, you have to. So the thing about Vladimir, and again, just going back through history, when he was trained by Freddie Roach for a period of time in the early 2000s, mid 2000s, Freddie Roach said in the interviews, oh, he's not the most confident guy. He's not, I'm trying to say, he doesn't really have that fire. And same thing Emmanuel Stewart said as well, is that, you know, he does has doubts, you know what I mean? And I think that could be being the little brother syndrome, where your big brother's there, your big brother, I'm trying to say, is the tougher one, the stronger one, so you always kind of feel a little bit inferior. Yes, he's matured and he's grown and he's his own man in his own right, but sometimes when you've got like a lingering thought in the back of your mind, it stays there for yourself.
You know what I'm trying to say? I personally don't think Vladimir ever wants to be a boxer.
No, I
said this is a joke. Like, Vitali is the boxer.
Yeah.
Clearly is, and you've just gone to the gym because your brother's gone to the gym.
Yeah.
And you've gone to do what your brother's gone to do.
Yeah.
And you've just eventually done what your brother.
Yeah. Psychologically, he might not have that edge to actually put that second gear in. That's it. Like I said, with Vitali, you wouldn't want to get into a fight with Vitali.
An argument.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like with Vladimir, like you can kind of get into a fight with him because you know you could actually work on that element.
Not just that. I mean, not even working the element. Look what Shannon Briggs has been doing. I think a lot of it's been staged, but regardless, I think Shannon Briggs would do that to Vitali.
Oh, no.
I think he'll try and throw water in Vitali's and try and sink Vitali on the canoe, bro. You think he'll do that? You think he'll come take his top and think in front of Vitali? No. Get out of here.
No way.
Not because Vitali would do anything. I think Vitali's very calm.
But you know what battles to pick. You know what to pick.
Yeah.
You wouldn't
necessarily pick those. And I feel that Vladimir is the weak one.
Yeah. But talking about bloody beef, out of nowhere, Stavern's name came up about Anthony Joshua last week. Then there was did you see the video this week with Shannon Briggs in the gym, I think it's in Florida, and Stavern's there training, and some other heavyweight comes in there and goes to Stavern. He's praising everyone. How you doing, bro? How you doing?
Who's praising everyone?
This other heavyweight.
No. Who's in the gym? Say again.
Okay, so Shannon Briggs in this gym. Yeah. And Stavern's there wrapping his hands.
Oh, Stavern's in the gym as well. Okay, yeah.
And whole no boxing crowd's there. But this guy comes here, I can't remember who he is though, he's an up and coming heavyweight and starts spudding everyone. Oh, you're here, we're going to train, we're going to this, going to that. And he starts saying hello to him. When he goes to Stavern, I look at Stavern there, held the Dobie's out for like 30 seconds, you know what I mean? And starts to diss Stavern a little bit. Then Stavern gets up and they kind of get into a little pushing match and Briggs tries to break it up and whatever, I'm trying to break it up and everything. Stavern looked genuinely pissed. But it was just funny, like talking about setups and stuff like that, whereas Stavern had been mentioned for months and months and months. Gets mentioned last week,
and guess who's in the middle?
And now this week,
cameraman and Shannon Briggs.
No, that was it. Not like you got a gym in a warehouse where you got a shutter.
Yeah.
So the guy's been filmed coming in from the shutter for the whole period, and just coincidentally, Stavern sitting on the ringside.
It's so bad. Seriously, it's so bad. Honestly,
maybe Stavern went on the joke because he did look genuinely pissed.
I'm telling you now, Shannon Briggs has a production company. It's just too bad now. All of a sudden, he's in the ring with Stavern. I've never seen them two together in my life. I've never seen them in the gym together.
Come on, know what I mean?
You know, I've never even seen them in the gym. It's funny because you talk about beef. Luis Ortiz made a video on Instagram called that Anthony Joshua.
Yeah.
Guess who liked the video? Anthony Joshua. And just, I respect that. Yeah. And I don't think Anthony Joshua fears anyone.
I don't think he does.
I think Luis Ortiz right now is a tough ass, but he'll fight him.
Yeah. So I tell you what,
he lands, he can knock him out.
The thing about Joshua, which I think is I think he's quite grounded, but I think what his strength is knowing that, guess what, he's come so far in such a short period of time. And thinking, wait a minute, if I'm this good and done so much in only 3 years as a pro, had a really short amateur career, 30. That's what he's thinking, I think.
Game
I mean,
over.
Yeah. And that's what a lot of guys said as well, like a lot of guys in the industry saying that get at me now, because it's only going to get better.
Cool. Alright, there you go guys, this week in boxing. Really and truly, Errol Spence. That's what the whole thing is about this week. Errol Spence come out party, and a lot of people have been talking about him. And wow, that's the kind of performance you need. When people talk about you hype, Mayweather does it, everyone does it. Let's see what you can do, and he's done it. But what do you guys think of that performance? Kell Brook, other names being mentioned. Where is Spence now in the welterweight division? The strange welterweight division, where we don't have a number one anymore. We have like equal number ones. There's no number one. Is Pacquiao number one?
Yeah, you have to make a package number one.
Number one in it? You say Pacquiao's number one in it? Strange, and now he's retired.
Yeah.
So the two number ones have retired.
Yeah.
So who's number one in your eyes? We're not trying to start an argument here. Who's number one? With Pac-Man and Mayweather both retiring at number ones, who's number one right now?
Controversially, I'll say you have to give Sean Porter.
Without a title?
Oh yeah. I think Kell Brook's mostly the best person in the division overall, but he ain't fought no one for 18 months, 2 years. Even though Sean Porter lost to Brook, he fought him. He fought Broner as well. He fought fighting Furman coming up. I mean, since their loss, Porter's had a better career than Kell Brook. Furman's been inactive. Yeah, I say argumentatively or controversially, I make Porter number one.
You don't make Amir Khan. Amir Khan ain't done nothing wrong since you had him as number one.
No, the RJ performance, I wasn't happy with it. I make him number two. But again, that's style. Like I said in the Canelo video, I think it's a style thing. I mean, where RJ was punching from, at that angle and that range is different. I don't think Canelo could do that type of things what RJ done. So yeah, I mean,
what's that? We're not talking in the video. Where's that coming from?
I'm talking about Amir Khan. So I think Amir Khan is a number 2 most probably.
Wow.
No, 3, 2, 3-ish. It's a tough division. Porter's number 1, 2, 3 could be a bit split between Kell Brook and Amir Khan.
Not Furman anymore then, because you're high on
Furman and Furman. It's a tough one.
I'm trying to trick
I'm trying to trick him. I think Porter argument is number 1. I reckon.
Okay, Porter number 1.
Yeah. What do you think?
Best welterweight out there, Brook.
Yeah, he must be the best, but he ain't fought no one.
Yeah, but I think he's the best still.
Yeah.
I think he's the best. I don't know. It's weird because you diss Broner and then you give Porter credit for beating Broner.
No, what I'm trying to say, I find it hard to rate someone. I find it hard to rate Kell Brook as the best. I think skill-wise he's the best in the division, but it's hard to rate him when he hasn't fought no one of note for 2 years.
Alright, let's quickly look at the fights next week. Yeah,
next week we've got GGG versus Dominic Wade.
Yep.
Got
2-round demolition.
I think we longer than 2 rounds, but
no, 2-round demolition.
Yeah. We've got Roman Gonzalez versus McWilliams Arrow.
Yep.
Also got next week as well Nonito Donaire versus Bedek. I'm just gonna say him. Just call him.
Where? What am I looking at? Oh, Bedek.
Yeah, just call him Bedek. What's the first name?
Featherweight.
What's the first name?
Zolt.
Zolt?
Yeah, Zolt Bedek.
Zolt Bedek.
Never heard of him in my life.
Yeah. Chris Avalos is fighting next week as well.
Okay.
And who else do we have next week? Yeah, that's it really.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So it's basically the return of Golovkin.
Yes, it is. And I'll be staying up for that.
Oh, I won't.
No, I will.
Because I expect to turn my phone on and see knock out. Yeah, you never know. This is, oh my god, you never know. This is boxing. Imagine that. Just imagine that, people. If Wade knocks out Golovkin. Oh my, Tyson Buster Douglas upset of that kind of proportion for me if Wade does that. But you never know. This is boxing. Who knows? Who knows? Guys, leave the comments below. Subscribe, tweet, the usual. Peace.